Welcome back to the Daily Crypto Deep Dive, and this episode matters because it takes the conversation from theory to implementation. In the last episode, the question was who controls AI in crypto? In this one, the question is even more personal. What happens when the wallet starts acting for you? Not just showing balances, not just prompting you to sign, but actually becoming an execution layer for your capital. Coinbase says the next generation of agents will not just recommend trades, they will monitor DeFi positions, rebalance automatically, pay for compute and API access, and participate in creator economies. That is a radically different model from the crypto UX most people still imagine, where a human taps buttons and approves every move manually. And this is exactly why this episode has to go beyond hype. Because there is a real difference between an interesting demo and a structural change in how markets work. Analyst and researcher David Duong at Coinbase has argued in the firm's 2026 Crypto Market Outlook that AI crypto depends on open, programmable payments, and that protocols like X402 support agentic systems that can transact autonomously and help launch, govern, and secure on-chain services. That is not just a throwaway line. It is Coinbase's institutional research team effectively saying, the financial plumbing for machine-driven participation is becoming part of the real thesis for crypto infrastructure. The reason this matters so much is simple. A wallet is no longer just storage. In the old model, the wallet was basically a secure interface for a human. You opened it, checked your assets, maybe signed a transaction, maybe connected it to DeFi, but you were still the one making every meaningful decision. In the new model, the wallet becomes operational infrastructure for software. Coinbase's own language makes that clear. The problem with today's agents is that they can identify an opportunity but still hit a wall when money is required, because they need human approval at every financial decision point. Agentic wallets are supposed to remove that bottleneck and give the agent an actual balance sheet and execution layer of its own, though with programmable guardrails. That shift is not just happening in one place either. Coinbase's Agent Kit launch in late 2024 explicitly framed the product as a bridge between AI and blockchain, allowing developers to build model-agnostic agents that can deploy tokens, execute transfers, perform swaps, and handle more complex smart contract actions. Coinbase even sketched out the use cases directly. Agents that automatically monitor and execute trades, deploy and manage smart contracts without human intervention, handle complex DeFi operations, and integrate with Web 2 systems like email and social platforms while still taking on-chain actions. That is not some vague future vision anymore. It is a toolkit already put in the hands of builders. So let's make this real. What does an AI wallet actually look like in practice? One example comes from HeyAnon, which describes its agent as being optimized for transacting across CFI and DeFi, specifically saying it can help bridge, swap, deposit, or trade. That matters because it is exactly the kind of multi-step activity normal users find clunky, fragmented, and intimidating. Instead of manually jumping across platforms and confirmations, the user gives an intent, and the agent handles execution. Another example comes from Griffain, which makes the point more bluntly. An agent without a wallet is just a brain without a body. Griffain's own framework describes wallets as the thing that lets agents turn intent into action, including making trades, fetching wallet tokens, forwarding input, and coordinating specialized sub-agents that search, decide, and execute. And that is where the conversation gets serious, because once wallets become the body for agents, the market stops being purely human-paced. Sean Neville, co-founder of Circle and now CEO of Katina Labs, argues that the real bottleneck in the agent economy is shifting from intelligence to identity. In his words, the critical missing primitive is Know Your Agent, or KYA, where agents need cryptographically signed credentials linking them to a principal, constraints, and liability before merchants and systems will trust them to transact. That is a major clue to where the industry thinks this is going. The issue is no longer, can AI reason well enough? It is, can AI be trusted with money? That analyst view lines up with what a 16Z crypto has been saying more broadly. In its 2026 AI Trends piece, Scott Commoners argues that AI will increasingly be used for substantive research tasks, not just lightweight assistance, and that crypto can help with interoperability and compensating models for contributions in multi-agent systems. Put simply, some of the smartest money in venture crypto is already framing AI agents not as novelty chatbots, but as research, finance, and execution systems that need payment rails, identity, and coordination. So when people still talk about AI and crypto as if it is just social media hype, they are missing how quickly the infrastructure conversation has matured. There is also a wider ecosystem being built around this idea of agents as economic actors. Virtual's protocol describes itself as a society of AI agents, where autonomous agents generate services or products, engage in commerce with humans and other agents, earn revenue, coordinate tasks, and manage resources autonomously. Its white paper goes even further by arguing that agent-driven output could eventually rival and surpass direct human contribution, pushing humans more toward orchestration, governance, and capital allocation. Whether that proves fully right or not, the significance is obvious. Builders are no longer just creating tools for people. They are designing economies in which agents themselves are treated as participants. Now, this is the point in the episode where we need to strip away the marketing and ask what this means for the listener holding Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, or altcoins right now. The first implication is that crypto wallets are becoming more than security products. They are becoming operating systems for action. If AI wallets can monitor yield, route swaps, rebalance portfolios, or pay for services automatically, then the wallet stops being passive and starts becoming a manager. The second implication is that chains with low fees and fast finality become much more attractive for agent-heavy activity. Alchemy's 2026 Guide to Building Solana AI Agents makes that case directly, saying autonomous programs can execute transactions, manage portfolios, mint NFTs, and interact with DeFi via natural language commands, while also arguing that a single agent monitoring markets and rebalancing portfolios could submit hundreds of transactions per day. That is exactly the kind of usage pattern that changes what good blockchain design means in practice. And that leads to a much bigger strategic point. If wallets become agentic, user loyalty may shift away from exchanges and toward execution layers. Right now, many users still think in terms of platform brands. They log into a centralized exchange, maybe use a DeFi app, maybe hold assets in a hardware wallet. But in an agentic future, the most valuable product might be the system that understands your intent and executes it across all of those venues. In that world, your wallet is no longer just where assets sit. It is the coordinator of your financial life. That is why Coinbase's own venture team has talked about 2026 bringing AI for on-chain development and security, with agentic tooling potentially democratizing on-chain building for non-technical founders. The same logic applies to investing and portfolio management. As the interface gets smarter, the user increasingly thinks in goals while the agent handles the steps. This is also why the threat to the average trader is real. If you are still approaching crypto as a market where your main edge is seeing a headline, checking a chart, and manually reacting, then you are operating inside the slow lane. An agentic wallet does not need to sleep. It does not need to switch tabs, and it does not need to re-enter the same transaction details again and again. It can be instructed to manage constraints instead of individual moves. That means, keep my stablecoin reserve above this level. Rebalance if one position exceeds this weight. Bridge and deploy capital if yields cross this threshold. Or, pay for the best data feed available and act on it within preset risk bands. Coinbase's own launch materials explicitly pitch autonomous spending, earning, and trading with security guardrails, which is just a polished way of saying the agentic wallet is being designed to do the repetitive parts of finance itself. At the same time, this does not mean handing your life savings to a black box and hoping for the best. In fact, the strongest real-world lesson from all of this is the opposite. The infrastructure players keep emphasizing guardrails, constraints, auditability, and identity because they know the risks are huge. Sean Neville's KYA argument is basically a warning that unverified agents will hit trust barriers. Griffain's architecture stresses specialization precisely because one general-purpose agent doing everything badly is more dangerous than multiple agents handling narrow tasks well. Even HeyAnon's appeal is not just intelligence, but structured execution of known actions like swaps, bridges, and deposits. The industry is already telling you that for this to work, the wallet cannot just be smart, it has to be constrained. And that is the deeper takeaway from this episode. AI wallets are not coming as some flashy side feature. They are arriving as the execution layer for an agent economy that needs money, permissions, identity, and infrastructure. The companies building this are not talking about a small niche. Coinbase is building wallet infrastructure for agents. A 16Z is talking about KYA and model coordination. Virtuals is designing economies where agents are treated as autonomous economic actors. Alchemy is publishing production-grade guides for building agent wallets and managers on Solana. This is what it looks like when a theme stops being a meme and starts becoming a stack. So the question is not whether this trend exists. It does. The real question is whether you want to be early in understanding it or late in reacting to it. Because if the wallet becomes the manager, then the person who understands that shift early will see the market differently. They will stop thinking only about coins and start thinking about rails, interfaces, permissions, identity, and which ecosystems are best positioned for autonomous activity. And in the next episode, that is exactly where we should go next. If these wallets can act for you, what happens when they start making decisions you would not have made yourself? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash like, follow, and as always, we will see you at the top.